Without further ado, spawning in the bottom left in the red from StarCraft Gaming, give it up, it is MAXPAX. Spawning in the top right from Shopify Rebellion, give it up for the Terran, it is Byun. Alright, so Glittering Ash is going to be the map choice here for game one between two people who I love watching for sure. Byun, definitely a Terran that has had some success. Continue to see that success transpire. Now, Byun going to be going into the 1 racks potential expand. On the other side, we do have the gateway coming down for MAXPAX. Going to go straight across with the probe. Just want to get a little bit of a middle mouse button starting to. Just want to get a little bit of harassment going on. Of course, see eventually the racks finishing, and it is actually going to be a Reaper. Now, Byun is typically a player that we have been seeing go more into Marines as of late. Obviously, you know, we know of Byun's Reapers and stuff like that, but in the current meta, it does tend to be more of a Marine-focused starter to be able to get into the quicker, like, reactor and stuff like that. So eventually we'll make his reactor, and no factory as of yet, as we are actually going to have the CC coming down. Looks like MAXPAX himself will in fact go ahead and expand and it is going to be Stalker first. Now Reaper is making its way across the map. Go straight into the main base, looking to get some damage done. Maybe pick off a couple of probes and kind of disrupt the gas count a little bit. Sees the Stalker, gets himself out of there, and we'll go ahead and try to poke into the front. Again, just trying to play keep away from basically the Stalker, right? The side. Finally, we do have a second barracks coming in. So looks like we're going to have a little bit more action coming out from Byun. Of course, gateway going down as well for the MAXPAX. Okay. That's better. Alright, so robotics facility will go down for MAXPAX. Of course, we do have the Adept now looking to go across the map. We'll see if MAXPAX can get any damage done. Now, we do actually have a few Marines up at the top, which will allow for a little bit of protection. Of course, move command on the Adept does not get anything done, and MAXPAX fortunately just kind of throws it away. Yeah, I'm going to come back in with the Reaper. Of course, with the Stalker in position, won't be able to get anything done, but he does at least scout that there is a robotics facility, which does give him an idea that there could be Blink on the way, as well as an attack. Now, we do have a third base on the way for Byun. Actually finishes up and is getting those beautiful upgrades. And behind it, we'll eventually get a third rack. So no factory as of yet. It's just going to be hardcore Marines getting stim. Finally, the factory comes down at 420. Now, a little bit before, but not bad at all. Reaper coming down will in fact counter. Stalker once again sees that there's no third base as of yet, and eventually will be taken out, but does get the clue that there are going to be a very heavy Stalker pushing through anyway. Find Marauders finally going to be coming in. A second tac lab being added. Stim is almost done, and behind this we are going to have a robotics bay, as well as a forge coming through for the Protoss. I don't mind this. Looks like now MAXPAX ready to go across the map and start putting on some pressure. Doesn't look like he wants to get a full commitment, but he is going to at least put a little bit of pressure. Keep Byun honest. Say, hey, I know you don't have a lot here. Go ahead and just pump in. Try to get some damage done. Maybe get a couple of kills and back up. And it looks like he actually loses a stalker. Gets 2 SCVs in the process. A nice scan. We'll take care of the observer as well. MAXPAX now. A little behind. Not too much, I guess. But he hasn't really got a lot of damage. I mean, he has lost basically too much for nothing. Stalkers are going to blink back once again. Sees that there is the third base coming through. MAXPAX's third base will finish up. Getting charge and extended thermal lance behind all of this. I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried from MAXPAX. I mean, game 1 so far really has been blunder upon blunder. I mean, we had the just walking move command, adept, losing the stalker, even going to lose the observer. Let's make it tough, but MAXPAX is a pretty good player. We'll see kind of where he wants to go with all of this. Now, double medevac drop going to be coming through at the same time. Nice little attack down towards the bottom. This isn't actually going to get scouted up at the top, but with the scan and everything, we do actually see MAXPAX moving in position towards that third base, really trying to pull MAXPAX out of position. Byun going to go ahead and stem forward. Wants to get on top of this army, focuses down the first Colossus, doesn't actually get it, and will have to move back as the rest of the reinforcements do come through here, and that might be the opportunity for MAXPAX, because he really doesn't lose anything but 2 probes. Not bad. Another attack looking to come in here. Of course, Stalkers are still in the main base for a potential drop into the main. Guardian Shield going to go down for the Protoss as those Colossi with extended thermal lance finished up will be able to start just eviscerating those Marines. Even with overcharge activated, still keeps the giraffes alive. We do have finally another War Prism coming through. +1 armor is coming through, as well as nice little counterattack going on for MAXPAX, sending some zealots across the map. Ends up getting 5 SCV kills, probably a couple of Marines as well. So definitely MAXPAX trying to keep the fight going, keep everything alive. So Stalker's gonna go ahead and stem back. Of course, Concussive Shell is done. We will start seeing those Stalkers slowly slow down. Does look like Byun wants to go for another attack. Of course, MAXPAX not completely ready this time. He does have a couple of Stalkers still in the main base, and it looks like that is going to be his destination. Stalkers go across, but will he be able to react to this quick enough? Looks like so. He's going to scan forward. Doesn't see anything, and will in fact drop enough. Oh, he does still have the Widow Mines in position. Colossus can go up the ramp. This is going to continue to put some pressure. Overcharge activated once again. We'll eventually be able to get the cannon. Does back up. Somehow, though, Byun's still staying alive. Another huge warp into the main base at the same time as MAXPAX looking to get on top of the SCVs. A few reinforcements there for Byun. At the same time, another attack across the map, getting on top of that third base, just destroying the mineral line. But 20 SCVs have fallen for the Terran. Well, 16 for MAXPAX. Same time, another drop in the main base of the Protoss. Eventually, the attack in the main does get cleaned up after 20 SCVs have fallen. 17 probes fall as well. Looks like for the most part, MAXPAX is going to be able to hold on. Got the units though. 55 workers to the 43 of MAXPAX, and 91. 6 now, 260. So MAXPAX Still struggling a little bit, even with all these little counterattacks, which have been doing their job. Still see the Terran overpowering as he is ready for another attack. Going into a couple of Vikings, nothing too crazy. And oh, I love this. The Dark Templar now going to be in play here for MAXPAX. It's not going to be seen just yet, but it looks like he's going to go to the fourth base. Same time, and a couple of DTs into the third. Even more in the main. DTs just everywhere. 11 more do go down, and every base has a DT. You get a DT, you get a DT. Everybody in the Terran base gets a DT. Looks like Byun now has to end this, or he might be in some big trouble. Widowmine's gonna burrow down, but actually get killed off before they can really even go. Now Byun having to back up. Overcharge has been activated. Guardian Shield gonna go down, but 23 SCVs up falling. Byun slowly starting to lose ground here. Eventually have to pick up. Loses a medevac. MAXPAX has pulled himself back into this game. +2. Some more DTs on the way. Scans are being used. He really has another scan at the moment. He will have a scan very soon. This army, though, from MAXPAX now looking a little scary. Just trying to find the right place to attack. These Colossus really have been a huge save for MAXPAX. So DTs from behind do get picked off pretty easily. Guardian Shield gonna go down. A couple of Vikings in the back to take care of those Colossus. The Stalkers with the DTs. Eventually, all the SCVs gonna have to get pulled. As it do try to focus everything down, the Colossus eventually will end up falling. And the Stalkers trying to get on top of the remaining units. And it looks like MAXPAX has been able to break this. More reinforcements, though, for Byun will come through. It's another scan off. Eventually, we do see MAXPAX pulling back. Doesn't want to overextend too much, but I almost feel like he has. Zealot's going to come in with the charge. More SCV is going to get pulled on top of this. And I am worried for Byun a little bit here. He is very, very low on minerals. He keeps losing the SCVs and stuff like that, and this is not looking good for him. So it's going to be coming here for MAXPAX. And it almost feels like he can just keep putting pressure, right? Just keep sending them across, but nope, looks like he's going to back up for the time being. Just continue to try to build this up. Alright, so behind this we do have Zealots going for another push. See if they can get anything done here. Things kind of stabilizing for the moment. You've got MAXPAX taking a fourth base once again. Gets a nice 4 probe kill with the Widow Mines. But eventually will be taken care of. Nothing too crazy. It does look like Byun now wants to go for another attack, and I don't mind this from Byun. Ghost looking to join the fight, as well as Disruptor's going to be the tech switch coming out from the Protoss. Ghost gonna go move forward, ends up EMPing a good chunk of the Protoss army, sacrifices its life. Just not going to be enough, and he's actually going to have to back up for the time being. Shadow Stride is now complete, but I don't see any DTs with this army. A huge Disruptor shot from MAXPAX, but doesn't have a huge army to back it up. Colossus will be able to take care of some of the Marines. The split does end up helping this out. And it looks like Byun is going to take game number 1. Right. Spawning in the top left. Put up for the Protoss. It is MAXPAX. And in the bottom right, in the red, the Terran. It is Byun. Game number 2, we're going to see MAXPAX go for a proxy pylon in a crazy location. Of course, no gas just yet. Just kind of off-putting. Is he just going to go into heavy zealots? Going to get the gateway across the map. Of course, the probe now going to go down towards the bottom. Look to essentially delay this barracks as quickly as possible. And as long as possible. Byun sending out a SCV just to kind of see what is going on with his opponent. Once he gets across, you do got to be kind of worried. You're gonna be like, okay, he's proxying. Then you got to be thinking, well, what is he proxying? It has to be a zealot. Gateway will finish up for the Protoss. Behind this, we're going to continue to see Byun eventually complete. Going to go straight into a Marine first. MAXPAX looking to delay the expansion, which could actually help Byun out here, right? If he is able to at least hold this off for a little bit, it should be more than okay. Expansion is on the way behind this for MAXPAX. And he's going to send across the force first Zealot. Stamina score going to finish up, so we'll be able to get into the depths, as well as the Stalkers if he chooses to do so. Marine behind this, of course, will be able to push the Zealot away. We've got a bunker coming through, as well as a factory. And it does look like the SCV will eventually scout what is going on. SCV and probe will end up meeting, going back into the main base. It's going to be a Stargate follow-up here for MAXPAX, and I don't mind that at all. Going into Oracle or even into a Void Ray could be very good for the Protoss, especially since Byun does have to play a little bit more defensively. He's going into a very light Marine play, going into Hellions, and now he is actually taking an expansion. He does have the starport this time, which will open up the possibility for Viking, but again, I don't think he's really scouted this out. Has seen the Stargates, so I guess he does have enough Marines to defend it, and he hasn't really expanded yet, so should be okay. Gonna be Phoenix coming out. Okay. MAXPAX going into Phoenix behind us. SCV will actually see the Stargate. And I believe he couldn't tell what it was. And he will get confirmation it is going to be Phoenix. So you got to be a little bit worried for the Terran, but at the same time, he's going to go straight across, try to focus down these Phoenix, and then come in with the Hellions. ISO recall will eventually allow the Stalkers and stuff come through, but these Hellions gonna get a little bit of damage done. Fortunately, not as much as he would really hope for with the overcharge being activated, but will eventually allow him to back up. But it looks like almost he wants to go for another push into the main. MAXPAX taking the robotics facility, which will allow him to open up into those observers, as well as eventually, some immortals, even the war prisms. Let's see where he wants to go from this. And finally gets himself that natural up and running. Was pretty heavily delayed considering all of the action stuff that MAXPAX has done here. It's the Robotics Bay on the way for MAXPAX, getting those additional gateways. And even throwing down a third base, just now having his one gate being taken out. So nothing too crazy. I mean, MAXPAX definitely playing all right. Now, the bad thing is this army isn't that great. Like, once he gets more Phoenix, it's going to be even more potent. But definitely feels like against like a mass marine style, the Phoenix just aren't going to compare. I could be wrong. We'll see if I am, though. With the Cyclones and the Vikings, yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to push this back. He could potentially go for another attack, but it does look like he wants to sit back for the... And then eventually, we could see him go into stim. Could see him go into +1. Just go into like a very big attack. Now, MAXPAX is going into Colossus once again. He does have extended thermal lance. And the extended thermal lance is going to prove very useful, especially against this high marine count that we do see Byun going into. 3 more gates being added on here from MAXPAX. He does in fact have the Twilight Council coming down as well, which will eventually open up blink possibilities and charge. Looks like it is going to be charged, so Zealot, Phoenix, Colossus? Byun, though, does have a pretty good army. He's going to go straight up to the north of MAXPAX's army and of his base. Wants to try to do a drop here, eventually going to the third, then up to the main. But the Adepts are going to see this. He's going to boost up forward. There are more Stalkers being warped in here. Eventually will have to be taken out. The Marines can go ahead and stim, and yeah, not going to do too bad. Will actually force the army of MAXPAX out of position. Try to shut down any of the production. Overcharge has activated. Now another attack going into the third base. We do have the Widow Mines coming through, a couple of Cyclones and the Marines trying to get damage going eventually. Looks like MAXPAX, or excuse me, Byun will lose a little bit of his army. He leaves with 1 medevac full of units. Eventually gets on top of the Colossus, taking it out. Widow Mines gonna burrow once again. Byun just going to continue to stutter step back, find himself in a better position, sees the more open ground, and will start pouncing on top of this. Eventually the Immortal going to fall. A couple of Phoenix going to pick up the Marauders, and then eventually we will see the Colossus triumph as well. Not a bad hold. I mean, there was a lot of damage done as far as to the army, but definitely feels like MAXPAX was able to kind of hold himself in there. Alright, so finally we do see MAXPAX going into a very heavy Zealot Colossus army. +2 is on the way. This is eventually going into this Templar Archives. Now, that will allow him to build up into Archons, build up into the High Templar, and just start going ham. Does look like he is ready for an attack. Of course, Byun does see this. He's going to come in with his little bio force. I don't know, with the Phoenix and the Colossus and the Zealots, it's going to be a tough nut to crack. Byun has to bring his third base back. I guess that could be the saving grace here, is that tank. Get an Archon in there. Don't mind it. I almost wonder if he should wait until +2 finishes up. I think that might be a little bit too late. There's a Blink on the way as well as some High Templar, but here we go. Guardian Shield gonna go down. Phoenix is gonna start focusing down each of the Vikings. Eventually, though, we do see MAXPAX having to back up as he doesn't want to fully commit to this just yet. Still just trying to keep the army count low for Byun. He does go ahead and back up, but I think it's more of like trying to pull Byun out of position at this point. The bad thing too is like Byun has not been able to really even mine from at third base. There is a second tank on the low ground. We'll eventually be able to take that. I almost wonder if he should get the Phoenix and get the top tank as well. But either way, behind it, he is going to get a fourth base and just continue this production lead, as it were. Even with Ghost coming through, I do think it's going to be a little tough. Finally going to be able to land the third base and start getting a little bit more income. I mean, he's at about 50 workers, but he's only on 2 bases, and it just looks very tough. At the same time, MAXPAX going to go ahead and move in, picks up both of the tanks as the Zealots look to get on top of this army. The Vikings trying to focus down each of the Colossus, the Stalkers trying to get on top of this army. The Archons going to push through with the Zealots, and it looks like Byun starting to fall short. GG, and MAXPAX takes game number 2 to tie things up. Game number 2 on Blackburn. I honestly expect like an aggressive game here. I definitely think we should see Byun proxy, or just go for like some crazy drops. I wouldn't mind actually seeing MAXPAX go for that like Phoenix Zealot play again. We'll see though. Probe from MAXPAX is going to go across the map. We'll go ahead and go up to the main base. We'll look to just put on some pressure. See if he can actually manage to do so. First Marine coming out for Byun behind this. MAXPAX going to take his expansion. This will get a little bit more economic value, and we really saw that transpire in the previous game where MAXPAX was up to 4 bases while Byun couldn't even take a third because of all the pressure and stuff from MAXPAX. So we'll see if somehow MAXPAX can keep that together and keep holding down Protoss, or excuse me, if he down the Terran behind all of us is going to be Pylon. We're going to get ourselves a Stargate play here. Interesting. So we're going to have a Void Ray push. Now, because Byun went for the 1 Marine expansion, he's not going to see this. He doesn't even send an SCV over to scout this. He literally just sees the expansion. Will he actually see this, though? He doesn't. He goes back up to the top. It is going to be double Marines, so that does help out MAXPAX a little bit, but Huh. Going into the 3 racks all together. Getting attack lab, getting the second one. Weight rate is being pushed out pretty quickly. Well, as the shield battery being up. We'll see the Marine try to get themselves in a position to hold this off. Again, he still doesn't know of the void ray here. Right. Void ray going to be coming through. Overcharge is activated on a prismatic alignment, looking to get on top of the reactor. Unfortunately, not going to be able to. Does end up backing up to the shield battery. Try not to take too much damage. Same time, we do have that adept getting damage done in the natural. She will back up as a second void ray does pop out. Shield battery is trying to get on top of this, and the Marines and SCVs will eventually have to back up. You really cannot overextend at this point. So many shield batteries already. More stalkers gonna get warped in here. The Marines are doing an okay job, but they really have to stay out of the way of that prismatic alignment. Gets the reactor, and yeah, I mean, he does still have the 2 other barracks, but it's a tough call with more and more of these void rays coming through. Does have stim pack completed. It looks like combat shields as well. That will help these Marines out a little bit, but each stim does cost some life. So he has to be very, very cautious on how he uses this. But if he can shut down the pylon, he would be able to shut down the Stargate and the actual shield batteries. But looks like he's just going to go straight across. Actually put on some counter pressure. Doesn't really have anything at home. He's got a couple of them. I guess that's okay. Missile turret, not going to be able to complete. Please keep the attention across the map. Now we see the Marines stemming forward. Let me get on top of us. Instantly a recall. Yeah. Marines looking to go down towards the bottom. Perfect opportunity here for him. He can't actually shut this down. That might give him a better chance, but behind it, we do actually see MAXPAX going for a third base, so it does look like he wants to continue with that aggression, getting the Forge, getting Blink, just trying to transition out of this. But I definitely think it's going to be tough for him to do that, as he's already invested so much into the Void Rays. Now they are going to go into the main base to get some more damage done, but with the turrets there and with the additional barracks, going into a 5 racks before factory. Okay, it's up there. It's like, oh my god, he's on a 5 racks before factory at Starport. How is that possible? They're hiding out in the corner. Robotics facility about up, which will give him the ability to go back into that Colossus tech, which I don't mind, but no, you've already invested a lot into these other things. Do you want to go into an even heavier army? Well, medevac and tanks are done. Does look like now Byun wants to push across the map to eventually try to end this. MAXPAX doesn't have the Void Rays still got 3 Void Rays. Like they're just gonna stay up towards the north. Eventually we'll go down to help join the rest of the army, because it looks like Stalkers and the Sentries will eventually have to engage into this. Just gotta be careful. That tank will provide a lot of DPS. That does look like Byun trying to regroup himself, trying to find a perfect spot to attack into. Second tank does end up going down, and I mean, MAXPAX is in a little bit of trouble here just because he's in this corner. He keeps taking damage. This tank just getting more and more pot shots off. The other tank going to reposition itself. We'll be able to take care of the Immortal for free. This is just not looking good for MAXPAX, even with the overcharge activated. There's just so much damage coming out here from Byun. Plus one is finished up as well. He's just going to completely destroy this army from MAXPAX. Even with the tanks and stuff going up top and the Colossus out, just not going to be enough. GG's. And Byun takes game number 3. It's a game number 4 of this best of 5 series. Definitely getting close. Byun doing some pretty good things. I mean, scouting the Stargate as late as it was, I think he just scouted as it came in. Thankfully, he went into the Marines, was able to hold that off. Just went across the map and really forced MAXPAX to have to recall. Once that happened, it gave him enough breathing room to get upgrades and eventually overcome MAXPAX. Now, a lot of times in the PvZ meta, we talk about that Stargate does feel a little bit weaker early game because you don't have a lot of defenses with it, which is why we see a lot of shield batteries, a lot of cannons, things like that to try to help compensate for that, right? Until they can get enough of the Air Armada to be able to, you know, overcome their opponent. In that case, we kind of saw that happen here for MAXPAX, where because he went into that Stargate, he had the potential damage there with the Void Rays, but did not have enough overall. Fortunately, with the Stalkers and with the Sentries, just could not get it done. Because he did go into that very kind of tech-heavy, or excuse me, army-heavy style, he didn't really have the units with getting the Stargate, getting all of these little things. Not have enough army to deal with it. Going to be an Adept coming out for MAXPAX behind it. He will go into the Twilight Council, so potentially go into Blink, maybe Charge starting out. But we could even see some Glaives. I have seen a little bit of Glaive Adept play coming out in the meta. We'll see. It's going to be 3 racks once again from Byun, thing up with the Tech Lab and then Stim and stuff like that. So looking to get aggressive and kind of tech up at the same time. Definitely seems to be working for Byun, that's for sure. Additional gateway and a robotics facility once again coming out from MAXPAX. I'm not sure what MAXPAX can really do at this point. Like, I mean, the Phoenix play was pretty good in game 2. Zealots were pretty good. It just feels like if Byun is able to get Ghosts out, if he's able to have just a little bit of breathing room, it seems like MAXPAX does struggle a bit more. So the Adept does come in. Scouts is kind of basically what's there. Doesn't want to commit anything yet, and it's going to be very heavy. Into the Stalkers, of course, Blink is going to play. It's at all, but I don't know if he's going to be ready. With this huge Marine push, no Colossus, there's nothing like that. There are only 5 Stalkers. Blink finishing up. This is not going to be enough. By the time Byun does get across map, he's going to have stim, he's going to have combat shields. These Stalkers aren't going to stand a chance. I mean, I do like that they're going to start picking some of it off, but does still need to be careful, even with like trying to take a third base behind this. Overcharge does activate. He is waiting for that stim. Oh, he got the stim. Gets the shield battery as well. Additional units trying to warp in here. The probe's going to get pulled behind this. And I think eventually he will be able to clean this up, but he loses all of the Stalkers. And even gets 6 probe kills through it all. 4 General Robotics Bay coming through, 4 MAXPAX, but Byun already building up more and more of this army, getting more Marauders, getting more Marines, looking for a second attack. And MAXPAX definitely could be in some trouble here. He wants to go for this Blink play, but for it. He does actually see the army pulling out. Gonna go straight back home. He has to try to delay this or stop it or something, but 4 Stalkers is not going to kill an army here. Especially you have trained assassins in the Marines and Marauders. Link's back. He's got an Immortal, which is nice, as well as the Sentries, but he's going to get the Robotics Bay. Excuse me, the Robotics Facility. Kills off the Colossus. We'll get the 3rd base as well, or at least put some pressure on it. Focuses down the Sentries. Not bad. I mean, MAXPAX still holding on, but it feels like he's just kind of delaying it until these medevacs come out. That's when it gets very, very tough for MAXPAX. Even more tougher than what it already is. Charge, though, is about 10 seconds away from finishing up. We'll give a little bit of hope to MAXPAX, but he hasn't really gone into Zealots. He's really just kind of gone into Stalkers. He is trying to get some Colossus in there as well, but this is just going to be a lot of damage coming out, even with the overcharge activated. Somehow the Sentry stays alive. Holy cow. Have more coming through as well. Tank's in a good position. Siege is up. Marauder's going to go forward, trying to move them up just a little bit more. Focus onto the 3rd base. Unfortunately, this army of MAXPAX cannot engage with the tank in position. He does have the Colossus out now, but the Marauder's just going to start trying to focus it down. Ooh, even a 2nd tank joining it. Yeah, he's gonna get the 3rd base and just continue to push on here. 76 supply to 112. He's gonna morph in a couple more Zealots, but doesn't have the gateways to really produce like he needs to. Especially against Byun, who's now on like 5 racks. He's going to back up, so it does give an opportunity here for MAXPAX to recover a little bit, but again, I just don't see him getting too much done here, unfortunately. Even with the Liberators in place, it does just... It seems like more and more MAXPAX is just trying to barely hold on. Maybe if you had a disruptor or something, it could shut down the Marauder force. It'd be a little bit easier. Yep. Overcharge has been activated. The Colossus and Stalkers in the back. Mines are trying to burrow, but not going to be able to. Going to go straight into the mineral, or excuse me, the main. Uses to actually go back and GG. That Byun is able to take it.